$2 billion earning game. The 10th anniversary drops. Galaxy of Heroes has earned masses of money over the years that it has been successful as a game franchise. With the new anniversary, we had the very first technical hard gate of whaling in Galaxy of Heroes that we have ever seen, and I want to know, was it worth it? Was it worth it? How much money has CG made from this new update? Has it really moved that needle? And what's it going to be long-term impact-wise for the game? Because I'm not sure if spending levels are going to continue to improve after people have gone through this first era. Let's take a look. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about how much money have people spent on Stormtrooper Luke. And I'm not talking about the stars. You can see over here that your boy scribbles, yes, I've got my 7-star Stormtrooper Luke, and no, I can't level him up further than when he was 3 stars. But I mean, and that translates to no real improvement in Colosseum. And my saltiness aside around whaling on stars does not translate into good performance in the Colosseum, I thought it was a good thing for us to take a look at and see how much money have people spent, because we are now gotten to the last day of Stormtrooper Luke's marquee, so we can take a look into Swigger events and we can see just how many people have actually got a high-level Luke. Because if you go into the Colosseum, we can't really get the full picture. We can go to the leaderboards and we can check out people who are at the top of your individual leaderboard, and you see, this guy is level 77, which clearly you need to spend a lot of money, or you can go over to the globals and you can see that this guy is probably hacking. Yep, we still got hackers in these tables, guys. If anybody is at level 5, you can't get there. Even this is too far. Universe? No, absolutely not. He does no, absolutely. See, these people over here, they are clearly just doing this to troll either the CG or the people that are actually spending money on Colosseum, and neither of these things is a good thing, guys. They're using throwaway accounts to show, hey, look, I can hack at this game and I can cheat the system. They are getting squished, they are getting knocked down constantly, because these will be gone probably by the time you watch this video. But all they're doing really is trying to ruin the experience of other people. Yeah, so essentially, how much money have these people spent? There's no real way of us checking in game, because all we can really see at the moment is like the top 50 of the global leaderboards, right? And you can take a look and you can go to the 50th place and you can see this guy has got a level 79 Stormtrooper Luke, and realistically the only way to climb this high outside of pure cheating is by spending real, cold, hard cash. What does it take, monetarily wise, to get to like high level 70s? Well, this is an interesting discussion we were having previously with Egnards, and he raised a very good point. This is the first time that I'm aware of that there has ever been a hard gate on how far you can progress in the game, right? Everything in this game has always been accessible to people free to play. You know, you could always get GL Ahsoka Tano. Yes, it has Relic 9s as requirements and new marquees, but eventually you could get there without spending money. You could do it if you were savvy and if you focused and if you spent the time and the effort, right? But with this new anniversary update, there has become a hard gate, and that's this material right here. This Mark 7 era materials, you can't get this anywhere. You can't. It's not in the game. We've checked the data mines. All of the marquees will give you rewards in the end to get up to 65, and then the only way to go past level 65, of course, is to have more stars, right? Era level 65 is the cap in terms of a 3-star marquee. You can see it over here. If we go down to level 65, you can see that, boom, you can do that. Requirements 3 stars. As soon as you go to 66, the requirement is 4 stars. You can't see it because my face is in the way. Let me move my face. So down here, requirements 4 stars at level 66, 3 stars at level 65. So in order to go to level 66, you need to be above 3 stars, right? But the problem is as soon as you hit level 71, and let me move my face over here just so that we can see. I'll move me up here. As soon as you hit level 71, it starts introducing this Mark 7 Auric ability module, and then further when you think you get to like 75, is it? Yeah, 75, you get this Masterwork Performance Core. This these two materials are not available at all unless you buy that pack. So far, there are no game modes in the game that award Mark 7 error bundles. This Mark 7 Abiric modules. You can't get them. Funnily enough, you can get the level 8 ones at certain points, I believe, in like Darth Vader's high tier, like if you've whaled up to 5 stars, I want to say, on Darth Vader's character. You can get it there. This is the first time that we've ever had that as a cap. So essentially, even if you've whaled your way to a 7-star Stormtrooper Luke, the most that you'll be able to get to is level 70, because 66 to 70 doesn't require any new materials. You just have to use these Mark 6 special ability modules, and you get those. You can get those through defeating the various tiers of the bosses. When you're beating like tier 7, you get these Mark 6 special ability modules. Certain later marquees also have them as rewards for the later tiers if you happen to have whaled on stars. But that's the cutoff. That's the top end that you can get. So that means anything from 71 all the way up to 95 is pure cash, right? It's pure cash, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So let's take a look real quickly. I want to spend that Cantina energy. I can't have my Cantina energy capped like that. That would just be rude. Let's go ahead and drop that energy. Amazing. So let's go and take a look at swugger.gg, and I want to see how many players have gotten to a point on their Luke where you have to have whaled. Realistically, anybody that is above level 15 has to have whaled, right? But how many people have gone really far, and roughly how much money have they been spending? You can filter by player data, that's it. Change it over to all. So we're seeing every single person in the game of 400,000 plus units, essentially, last updated an hour ago. So we could look at and think, oh, level 85, there's 0.465%, but that's quite difficult because we don't actually know when we hit level 85 at this point. When you look at this level up, you get to see what gear level they translate to, but that doesn't actually tell you when you hit level 85, right? It doesn't actually give you that information. So looking at level is not important. However, if we go down, we can see how many 7-star Lukes that we've got. Now, this is not going to account for people that have perhaps used their crystals instead of using hard cash, and we don't know if they went 7-star day 1 or 7-star across the full days. If I was to be very conservative and say, let's just pretend like everybody did the I will whale to 6 stars, and by the end of the marquee event they'll get to 7 stars, that works out at about $130 for each individual Luke. Now, I don't think the figures are like that. I think it is actually higher, because I know that people were whaling on this day 1 and getting 7-star Lukes day 1, and I know that most people probably don't save up all the crystals. So let's say it's $130 times 6,890. So CG has made probably about $900,000 just off 7-star Lukes. It's a casual number. It's a casual number, not too bad. Now, when we go down, we can also see that there are a number of people that have got Gear 13 Lukes, number of people that have got Gear 12 Lukes, number of people that have got Gear 11 Lukes. Now, we know currently the only way to get beyond sort of level 15 is to whale, because you can use crystals to get to like level 15, which is Gear 4, which means everybody sort of above this threshold, has spent some sort of money, right? So all of these people here have spent some sort of money, but I'm not going to look directly at that. I want to focus maybe just on these two, the ones that are Gear 13 and the ones that are Gear 12. So Gear 13, in order to hit that, you need to be level 75 at the minimum. 75 is, as we know, completely impossible to do without money anyway, but right now, all of it is impossible to hit. So what does it cost for us to get to level 75? If we are talking about how much money, it means essentially that you have to have spent, we'll ignore this first one, let's pretend like this first pack 1 to 15, they didn't spend money on that, because you can get it essentially by using your crystals instead. So we're going to exclude this. But essentially, in order to get up that high, these people have basically had to spend buying these packs, right, 3 times. So essentially, you'd have to have got these 3 times each. So 597 plus 8.54 plus 1139 plus 1329 plus 1519 plus 1709. And you times that by 3. So that is $214 and 41 cents. But the only way you could actually go beyond level 65 is also if you have a 7-star Luke. So I'm going to add $130 to this because they need the stars as well. So that's $350 basically, and that's a conservative number. That's a conservative number because this doesn't include the additional currency that you would need to purchase, the error level currency. So of course you can just go ahead and use this pack here to try and farm currency, but 2,000 crystals for what is most likely 56k in error currency isn't really going to cut the mustard. You're better off probably just spending $20 and getting yourself 300,000 currency, because how much currency do you need for one character to go that high? Well, mine is currently level 16, so I'm going to miss off some of it, but if I was to say take this guy up to level 75, wasn't it? It's 297,000 currency, right? And we can't get that much. We can't get 297,000 currency in the game in any way free to play at this point. Obviously, you can go ahead and use your crystals, but essentially that one pack down here, this $20 pack, that gets you there. That gets you there. So let's just add that plus 18.99, and it is likely more than this value, right? And this is in pounds, not dollars, but it should convert relatively the same. £363 per character, right? I think the number is probably closer to about 500 rather than 360, but I digress. So there are currently 889 people that have got that, Gear 13 level 75 minimum 7-star character. So let's multiply that by 889. That's $323,000 essentially, additionally. $300,000 that they made in the last week from whaling on these characters. So, I mean, it begs the question. That doesn't include all of these people down below, because there are thousands of people that have spent more, so we can easily increase this figure. I think this is well over, well under half of what the actual figure is. I don't have the metrics, and we are making some wild assumptions here, but what we can say is that's nutty, because you can see some people down here have actually got Relic 2 and Relic 1, and in order to get those, you have to go even further, right? Getting to Relic 2 is essentially, what is that? That's level 85, I want to say. Let's have a look at this. How do you get to Relic 2 on this new system? Relic 2 is 80. So there are people that have gone up to the 80, which is even further again. It's just like, it's wild to me how much they have increased the spending for this new game mode. In a game mode that is introduced for the 10-year anniversary and has introduced the only hard lock on requirements. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You do not have to spend this money. It is all for Relic 10 materials. That's the only thing that you're spending for. You're spending in order to be top of this table to get that 1,000 currency a day so that you can convert that 1,000 currency and you can go ahead and go into the error shipments and you can buy your coaxial servo motors, or maybe you'd prefer to buy the lightspeed tokens. But really, in my opinion, the servo motors is what it's all about, because that's the only way right now for us to get Relic 10 characters. This is the only time we've ever been fully locked out of something. And you don't need to do this, right? You don't need to spend that money, because anybody that is sort of in the end game and is able to get a 7-star character, for example, you can see my Luke is 7 stars. In the old system, I would already have him at Relic 8, right? I have the materials. I can just drop the materials to take every new character every 2 weeks to Relic 8. I can do that. I don't need to spend money. I don't need to spend money to get Gear 12 gear, to get up to Gear 12. I don't need to spend money to get to Relic 6. And that's the cap, right? And the way it's positioned right now, CG is putting forward that you're looking to spend $350 to $500 to get a character to Relic 6. When you look at the concept of that in lightspeed tokens or lightspeed bundles, you could normally spend between $10 and like $20 to get a whole, like 4 or 5, 6 characters up to like Relic 5, right? Sometimes Relic 6, sometimes Relic 7, depending on the pack, right? But now it's like, you know, $300 to $500 to get Relic 6. It's for one character. I don't know, man. This just feels so weird. I don't like to be negative all the time, but it's just really jarring. It's really disruptive to the normal way that we've played this game for so long. And it feels like, one final thing, it feels like this over here, I've got him at 7 stars. I can't do this last tier because I have to get to error level 70. And as we've just seen, if I wanted to hit that, if I really wanted to have 2 Omicron materials and 2 Flawed Signal Data and 2 Zin Biddles and 2 Electriums and 5 of this Xaereth ability module and 1 Zeta Mat, I would need to take him from 16 to level 70, which, as we know, it would cost me about $300. I mean, obviously, the value of getting to level 70 will be reflected inside the Colosseum, but why am I gated here by this? This used to be a Relic 5 gate. Relic 5 for me is free. Like, I don't need to spend no money for that. But now this is at error level 70. This is such a huge cap. A huge cap for basically every single marquee that gets released ever. They've gated this, let's be honest, largely invaluable reward behind something that costs a boatload of money. It's just absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. So, you know, I want to thank Eggnards for jogging the stimulus on this, for talking about, you know, this being the first actual hard cap in the game when it comes to, oh, you can't do this. You know, you can't do this if you're free to play. You can't, you know, if you're not willing to spend more money, you can't get beyond error level 65. I mean, technically you can get to 70, right? But 70 doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't get you to gear 13. It maybe saves you a couple of gear 12 pieces, and that's about it. But people are still wailing. People are still wailing because we've checked the figures. There are people definitely spending large boatloads of money. Now, what I'll be interested to see, what I will be very interested to see, is in 1 week's time, or in 2 weeks' time rather, after we see the release of IG90, how many people are we going to see take a Gear 13 IG90? You know, how many people are going to get to Relic 2 on IG90 in a week's time, or 2 weeks' time? That's going to be the real telling difference, I think. That's going to be a real telling difference. If people are going to continue spending, or if people are going to be like, hang on, this is absurdly expensive. I don't value Relic 10 mats that high. We're going to find out.